we are going to talk about what looks black and what looks mixed. So right now, I want you to picture a biracial person in your head. Go ahead, take a few seconds. Do they look something like this? Okay, now picture a black person in your head. What do you see? Do you see something that looks like this? Get ready to be surprised when you find out that none of the people on this page are black. All of them are biracial. But the fact that many people who look like this still call themselves black or light-skinned black has caused a lot of confusion. And that confusion is perpetuated by people who don't want biracials to accept all of their sides. Some people want biracials only to see themselves as black. And when they try to convince biracials to call themselves black, they use some of the silliest arguments I have ever heard. Ever heard the phrase, just because everyone else jumps off a cliff doesn't mean you should as well? Well, this is the same concept. A lot of biracials calling themselves black is not proof that biracials should call themselves black, and it's not proof that biracials are black. People who say this argument like to think of mixed race people as just a lighter black person, but there's only one type of black person, and that's a black person. If you mix anything with it, your result is not black. Your result is not a different type of black, but your result is an admixture, which is its own thing. In the same way, if I mix this chocolate with this milk, my result is chocolate milk. Chocolate milk is not just a lighter type of chocolate because it has such a high milk content. And chocolate milk is not just a type of milk because milk comes from cows, and cows can only produce white milk. Sorry to burst your bubble, but not even the brown cows can produce chocolate milk. So as you can see, chocolate milk is its own product because it's not the same as any of the individual ingredients used to make it. In the same way, biracials are their own entity because they are not the exact same as any of the individual races that make them up. Let me use pictures to show you what I mean. These are pictures of black people. These people are from Africa. The picture on the right is a man from Uganda. I don't know the nationality of the other picture, but let's think about it for a second. Is it really logical to say that these two totally dissimilar people belong in the same racial category? It makes no sense to me that people will put these two very similar looking people in different categories, yet will put these two different looking people in the same category. I know some of you may say that you think Tiger Woods looks black because he has a wide nose and brown skin, and he doesn't look like this person here, but the truth is, there is no standard mixed people look. Mixed race comes in different shades, colors, and sizes. The appearance that you see on this screen does not have a monopoly on the biracial look. Just because a person doesn't have any noticeable European features doesn't mean they don't look mixed. Let's revisit the Tiger Woods example. Tiger Woods is part black and part Thai. This is what Tiger Woods looks like when you compare him to a person from Thailand. Notice the identical nose shape, lip shape, and overall complexion. In my opinion, Tiger Woods actually looks more Thai than he does black. I would be more willing to make this comparison than I am to make this one. Do any of the people on the outer edges of this page truly look like they belong in the same category as the African in the middle? Go ahead, just take a second to look at this and tell me, do you think that all of these people belong in the same category? In fact, I would actually say it's disrespectful to people who look like this when you make biracials the face of African beauty. This is Sade. She is half white and half black. If you pretend that she is representative of people who look like this, then you are ignoring the uniqueness of Africans. And you see this kind of thing all the time. Here's an example. Go to the ethnic hair care aisle of any beauty supply store, and this is what you'll find. Countless pictures of obviously mixed people trying to pose as African or black. In fact, I am thoroughly convinced that the woman in the middle picture is Asian. But the point is, pretending that these people represent black beauty is racist to black people and it's racist to biracials. It's racist to black people because it sends the message that black heritage must be diluted first in order for it to be considered acceptable. And that is an insult to Africans. But it's also racist to biracials because it forces them to represent only their black side when they should be able to represent all of their sides. In a nutshell, black people get robbed of the ability to represent themselves, and mixed people get robbed of the ability to choose how they self-identify. It's a lose-lose situation. To fix this, biracial needs to be accepted as its own entity and not just as a subset of black. Other countries have done this. For example, this is a South African family. In South Africa, most of the members of this family are known as colored, not as black. The designation of colored in South Africa means having more than one ancestry and not exactly looking African. Now, if you grew up in America, you would probably just look at this image and see a quote-unquote light-skinned black family. But in reality, those so-called light-skinned black people are actually mixed. They just call themselves black because they are unaware that they are mixed. But like I said, in other countries, mixed people are recognized in their own racial category. Take Brazil, for instance. The image on the left is what is known in Brazil as a mulatto. Many people look like this due to the gradual blending of African and European ancestry, creating a sort of chocolate milk mixture, if you will. But it's in its own category. It's not seen as a subset of black. There are many people in America who look just like this due to the gradual blending of African and European ancestry. The image on the right is the same example, except it's African blended with Native American. And I'm sure many people in America look like this due to the gradual blending of African and Native American ancestry. And one last example is myself. Lots of people have asked me what I am, and I tell them my admixture is Native American, black, and white. Though I don't look white, and though I don't look like this kid, that doesn't mean that someone such as myself doesn't look mixed. Take my hair, for example. Although it's not straight, it's actually not kinky either. A close-up would reveal that it's actually pretty soft and curly. It's almost wavy. If I had to compare it to someone else's hair, I'd say it's more like Frederick Douglass's hair. Frederick Douglass was also biracial. He was a mixture of black and white. I do have a flat and broader nose, which is associated with Africans. But it's also interesting to note a couple of non-Africans who have similar noses, George Lopez the comedian and Jackie Chan. But if you look closely at my nose, you will notice freckles, which are commonly associated with European people. Then there's also cheekbone, lip shape, and complexion similarities. But I think you get the point. There are many ways to look mixed, and mixed people should be free to accept all of their sides.